I knew how to act before I knew how to walk. I knew how to work before I knew how to love. I never felt like I had the acceptance to ever get married. I thought my life was going to be work.
She looks at me and she goes, I'm not gonna kneel because I'm in Gucci. And then she basically goes, hey Miranda, I think that you're pretty f***ing great and I think that we should get married. Are you in or are you out?
I said what I said and I meant it. I'm black and I'm an American and I have African descent in me. I also have American Indian. I also have a lot of other things. We categorize ourselves here.
Yeah.
But when I go overseas, I'm an American.
Today's episode's incredible. If you don't know who Raven is, she is one of the most iconic Disney Channel stars of all time. She got her start as a child actor when she was only 3 years old on The Cosby Show.
I am out of here.
Then she went on to be the youngest black female to have a TV show named after her with the show That's So Raven, which we all know and love.
That's me.
Now she's married to her lovely wife, Miranda, and we talk with them about everything from having children as a same-sex couple, being a child actor, and even why Raven had a panic attack when she proposed to her wife. So enjoy. Thanks for being here. Something that I recently learned is the whole world's been saying your name wrong your entire life.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that? What's the correct pronunciation so we can set the record straight?
The correct pronunciation of my name is Raven-Symoné because there's an accent grave over the E, which is mostly in French-speaking countries. So that's why I never corrected people because we don't really use that a lot here in America. But there was a trend on TikTok and this is actually how it's done. I'm like, well, this is actually how it is. And I was at
It was just a trend you were jumping on when
Yeah.
you announced it?
So do you just kind of go along with it still, people mispronouncing it, or do you correctly pronounce it every time?
No. I even speak it incorrectly. Raven-Symoné. It's much easier for the American tongue, just to be honest. Raven-Symoné, and then I'm like, oh, I've been called Raven-Symoné my whole entire life.
But no one calls you Raven-Symoné. No one in her family, her mom doesn't call her Raven-Symoné. This is Raven.
It's only in Canada
Raven
and France.
is actually really looking at the accent, and it's funny because I asked my mother-in-law about it, and she was like, "Oh no, I just thought that was cute." Because no one actually calls her Raven-Symoné. But because the accent is there, Raven is like, well, this is what this means. Much like if you have a tilde over an N, like in manana, you know that to roll the N a little bit. That's what it is. So...
growing up, I thought your last name was Simone, I think.
That is incorrect as well.
Yeah, it's
a lot
the
of
first
people
name.
think that. Yeah, it's hyphenated. And now I'm a 2-hyphenated name.
Yeah,
Wow.
we have long names.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, so what's the full name?
Okay, correctly?
Correctly.
Raven-Symoné Pearman-Maday.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah, Raven-Symoné Pearman-Maday.
Wow.
Raven-Symoné Pearman-Maday.
I should do that now.
You can make a song out of
I've
that.
never said it like
She
that
can
before.
rap it.
Really?
Hilarious.
When you introduce yourself, you don't say the full name.
No, I never say
Yeah,
that.
you
I
We're
just say
so
Raven-Symoné.
confused. And people don't know how to address this. Also, when we got married and we hyphenated our name, people thought that I was Miranda Pearman-Maday all the time. And I think they thought that I was the Pearman because they had no clue that Raven's last name was actually Pearman. So there's always just been name debacle. And then Mayday is spelled Maday. And so people my whole life have said Maday. And then if you say Mayday, they throw another Y in there. So we just have trauma bonded over
our names. Yeah.
We know who we are.
Exactly.
Thank you, and that's all that matters.
A name does not define me.
Whose idea was it to combine your last names?
Ours. We chose it.
Yeah, I think we talked about it and we were just kind of like, what do we want to do? I really like my last name. I think Miranda Mayday is, a strong name. And my father was so adamant when we were girls growing up that Mayday was a really great name. So,
But she did think about taking away her M because she wanted cool initials.
Ah.
wait, what? Taking away my N?
Taking away your M. Because if you took away your last M, what would your initials be?
Oh, yes, MVP.
Oh,
Yeah,
That is
very
cool.
epic.
Sorry, I had
Wait.
to get up there. Yeah, but I think MVPM is cool too. But MVP is
MVP. She
pretty
was
great.
like, oh my God, that's, and then I like mine, RSCP, but now it's
ECT.
RSCPM.
Whenever I see hers, I think RESPECT.
Exactly. I should just keep adding to my name and just get to RS.
Like LGBTQ+.
Don't bring that list up.
Your necklaces with your initials MVP would be pretty.
I know. Also, if we did that, imagine how long they'd be. They'd be shoulder to the width of our shoulders.
That's funny.
And you have your son with you right now, this
Yeah.
cute little guy. I did not know he was going to be coming with you today. This is so cool.
Surprise.
What a gift.
His name is Quinn.
Quinn.
And
Quinn.
he was now. Oh yeah,
Now
yes.
he's
Sorry,
like,
we
oh, it's
woke you
wake-up
up,
time.
buddy.
Good morning. Go back to sleep.
Aw.
So cute. He's so well behaved.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He is a good little guy. He comes with us most places, and he's very well behaved, and he's a little angel.
He's a little angel. He knows he's on camera now. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, get ready, Quinn. I brush his teeth every day.
Oh my gosh.
I wash his face every day. He has
And
a
you
good
said before this
skincare
you had a nursery basically for him as a pup.
As a pup, it was just me and him in the nursery at the nighttime so that he could feel safe.
Sweet.
I don't know. I have this thing. Okay, now he's awake.
Aw.
I have this thing, and I know it's not the best for all of the dog people, but I like sleeping with dogs. I'm not really a super crate person unless it's to train in certain ways, but I like for them to be a part of the family. So he sleeps right here, he sleeps right here, he sleeps everywhere, and he's been doing that forever.
I know a lot of people who sleep with their dogs.
Yeah.
I love it. You guys have a dog?
No.
We don't. Yeah, we don't. We've thought about it, but we
Our
have 2
kids
kids.
eat our food off the floor, so
You don't need a
if we
dog.
stop doing that, we'll get a dog.
That's fair.
No, they actually do. We have to like really be careful
We're
with
like,
that
no, don't touch that.
kids are just funny. Like they just want to test every boundary. So you just
Yeah.
have to teach them, right? Like in Disney World, there'd be like popcorn on the floor. I'd see our kids reaching for the
They
popcorn.
were
I'm like,
eating
no,
all the
I'm like, no,
popcorn
no,
there.
no. I'm like,
First of all, they're not
we-
supposed to have popcorn to begin with.
Oh
let
my
alone
gosh.
somebody else's popcorn that's
Yes.
all on the ground.
Why
and
no
is stepped on.
popcorn? I can't have popcorn.
It's a choking hazard. So little
'cause it's
kids can't have
dry.
popcorn.
The
yeah.
kernels.
Yeah, the kernel.
It just gives me gas.
I can see that. I mean,
Sorry, guys.
I think it does
I've
it,
never
everybody.
heard of that before. I didn't know that popcorn gave you gas. I thought it was just like beans.
There's a lot of
No,
butter in
just
it.
love-
I mean,
yeah.
Really?
Lots of different things.
It's
can give
like
you gas.
I think it's major for me.
the corn.
Sorry,
Used to
guys.
that.
I'm sorry.
I always veer off a little to the left.
No, you're good. No, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
yeah.
No dog.
Can you take anything for that? Can you take? Does lactate help with popcorn
It's
gas?
literally just don't. Like the
No,
only popcorn I can
literally
eat,
don't.
it's just literally don't. I can have a jelly bean popcorn. That's about it. And I miss it too, like the caramel ones from Garrett's popcorn.
Yeah.
Oh, those Garrett's. Isn't that Chicago?
Yes, it is. What'd I say?
No,
Detroit.
you didn't say it
Oh,
wrong.
okay,
You
yeah.
said
Chicago
Garrett's, yeah.
Garrett's.
Yeah.
I would always get that in downtown Chicago at Christmas time. So good.
So good. I miss it.
So what do you have when you watch movies?
Air.
Nothing.
I'll have
Korean barbecue.
all day Korean barbecue. I'll do something called a carnivore crisp or a wild chip, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
you've seen those?
It's like chicken.
It's like
Yeah.
chicken chips. I'll do something like that.
Okay, fun.
What is your love story? Yeah, because you guys got married in 2020, but like you've been together for a while, right?
Yes, we have. We met in 2015, and Raven was moving to New York soon after that to do The View. And we ended up going to New York together and dating
got
for
him.
a while. Okay, Quinn. And then we broke up, had time kind of to discover ourselves, date, do what we had to do, and then came back together in 2020 and got married very quickly after that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We I had always known that Raven was my person. And so it felt really easy once we were back together and she realized that I was her person to just be like, let's go, let's do this. But that's
it. That's
our
good.
love
That's a good.
story.
That's a good. love
That's
story.
really cool.
That's sweet. Were you guys together all throughout lockdown?
For the second half of lockdown. For the second half of lockdown, we were together, and it was interesting. We definitely bonded. Obviously, a lot of people did or did not.
The opposite
Or
of
did
bond.
not.
Yeah, did not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for those who did, we made it last a little bit longer after lockdown. We really got used to it and loved the companionship that we had with each other of just us two. Like, we were the last people in our crew to take off our masks. We were the last people to be like,
Yeah.
oh, there's a dinner party? Okay, we'll just, we'll FaceTime.
Yeah.
We're not really going out anywhere.
Yeah.
We just started getting on planes again, to be honest. And when we do get on planes, like, can I tell a secret? It's not a bad secret. I don't think you'll
Okay.
be embarrassed. Like, we still put Vaseline and like antiseptic in our nose.
I don't think that that's a bad secret at all.
Okay,
I think
cool.
More people should do that.
What even does that do? I actually have no idea.
Well, it can help keep you healthy
Oh,
because
okay.
there's so many airborne pathogens, right? So if you just put a little Vaseline in your nose, then it catches whatever might go up your nose and get you sick. So it's a really smart protocol to whenever you're going to big crowds, you're traveling, if you're going to a concert, if you just put a little Vaseline in the rim of your nose, and if you wear glasses, because it's basically mouth, nose, eyes, and ears that would get you sick. So if you do that, or you swab your ears with a little bit of hydrogen peroxide, especially with young kids, you can just do that with them, and it will reduce.
Definitely don't take our things for medical, but do your own research.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor, and everyone knows that. But what I'm saying is also kind of standard in terms of swabbing your. But yes, we do that, and I think more people should do it.
Now, maybe that's why we keep getting sick all the time, because when with two little children who, are just touching everything, I'm like, maybe I need to just put some Vaseline in my nose. That'll solve the problem.
Yeah. It really, it definitely helps. I'm all about it. He's gonna be like
the shiny dad.
I know
He's already like this. Like he's already like you're obsessed with Vaseline. He rubs it on his hands every single night.
Good for you.
Oh yeah,
Like covers
soft
them.
hands.
And I'm like, can you hold my hand? Like when we're falling asleep, he's like, oh, I got Vaseline all over my hand. I'm like,
I bet you have soft, nice hands.
Yeah.
I wish I have like old people hands. They're so dry. I think I have eczema. Is probably what it is. But I'd put so much lotion and stuff in my hands. Nothing.
Have you ever
nobody
tried
paints it
tallow?
on.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say you also have to know that Vaseline is an occlusive, right? So it is supposed to hold in moisture, but if you don't have something on top of that, like if you put a lotion and then you put Vaseline and then you put a glove on, then you'll start actually hydrating your skin.
You've got so many tips.
Yeah, you know your
crazy
Vaseline.
with it.
That's good.
I know my Vaseline real well. I do.
That's actually good. You should do that because something's not working.
And I have ashy knees. Like my knees are always white. So maybe I need to put on lotion before the Vaseline.
Try
my
a
knees.
tallow too. Just pure animal fat. It's actually more hydrating than a lotion that you get over the counter
keep
that has a whole
hearing
bunch of
that.
stuff. It's really good.
Yeah. You can make your own, but also
Whipped tallow.
just ordering like a good whipped tallow or shea butter.
Shea butter's great too. That's old school.
Yeah.
Sorry, love story. Who told who that they loved them first?
Oh, she said it first.
I did.
You did. You told Carlicia.
I know you always say this.
I heard it.
And I feel like you misheard because
I was
feel like
eavesdropping. I heard it in the kitchen while I was in the cubbyhole.
I know that you say this. And Carlicia is Raven's friend and assistant who was living in the same apartment as us.
My assistant
in
at the
New
time,
York.
no longer.
Yeah. Okay. And she claims that she overheard this kitchen conversation. And I don't remember it at all. But
In a cubbyhole?
Okay, so let's explain that.
Yeah, that part.
That part. So in New York, apartments are just freaking weird. Okay.
Yeah.
And I found a really cool apartment in a friend's apartment building. And it was a 2-bedroom with a cubbyhole. And I say that by when you're going from the first level to the second level, there's like a half level that you would store your
like a lofted
suitcases
space.
or, extra stuff. However, I used it as my bedroom. It was weird, you guys. It was weird. I gave Carlicia the bedroom. I took the cubby hole. And then the second room was actually my art room because I was in college for art at the time.
Oh, cool.
So I sacrificed my whatever and got in the cubby hole, which was kind of cool. It had like rails. I could see everything when somebody came into the front door.
I remember when I first got to New York, I was like, oh, wait, this is where we're sleeping because you could not stand up. Like you would definitely, and it was just a mattress on the floor. And I was like, Raven, what is going on here? But I have to admit, it was probably one of the most comfortable sleeping situations because it was only a room made for sleep. And she got a great, well, actually, I'm lying. You had tatami mats at first, and it was extraordinarily hard. But then you did buy a softer
once you got
situation.
in, and
yeah, she
I
made
wanted
it
her
comfortable.
comfortable. But I do love sleeping on the floor. I love sleeping on a tatami mat, and I also use like a thicker type of Indian-based mattress that can fold in and fold out.
It's really comfy.
But it was just a big pillow. It's like kids wish they had spaces like that.
Yeah.
It
Those
was
like,
fun.
well, Matt used to sleep in his brother's closet.
I did.
Because it was like a little tiny space.
Aww.
It's kind of fun and cozy.
It's like the
agree.
womb. We're all going back.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
just wanna be,
I
like,
just thought it was
cozy.
so sick because I used to watch Star Wars as a kid. You know how the doors would go like you're like they just like slide,
Hilarious.
and that was how the closet worked. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is my Star Wars bedroom. It's like a secret door. Nobody knows it's there.
Love it.
You
Love
know?
it.
Speaking
So
of the
cute.
womb, you are a Are you still practicing a doula?
I'm not still
Okay.
practicing as a doula, but I am a trained doula.
Okay, cool.
And did that for almost 2 years. And then the pandemic kind of derailed everything. And then we started our podcast and our work together. But amazing work. Incredible.
so cool.
Like, it's really beautiful, intense, amazing work.
What brought you into that?
You know, it's interesting. When we were in New York, I found a place called Carriage Birth House run by Domino Kirk. And for anyone who may or may not know, Domino Kirk is a badass doula and married to Penn Badgley now. And she wasn't at the time, but I remember seeing, I think it was like her Instagram or something, and I was like, this woman is amazing. She was like tatted up and but still like really beautiful and charismatic and conversational. And I looked at this kind of like group of women that she was working with, and I was like, I kind of feel like I'd fit with these people, or at least
My wife is tatted.
or at least I want to like believe that I would fit with these people. Yeah, a little bit, not like Domino, but I kind of was like, maybe I want to do something like this, because my career had been bouncing a little bit. I was like personal assisting here. I thought I wanted to do something in entertainment, but I didn't know where I fit in entertainment and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, maybe I just take some real initiative and do something like this. Went in, went out, left New York after we broke up, went back into working in entertainment. And then finally I was just like, you know what? I'm going to take a doula training. Like, I just really want to do this. And I found one in LA, went, and yeah, that was that period of my life for almost 2 years.
That's really cool. It also has to be so intense, like you said, kind of crazy. And you also did postpartum. So is that, you're kind of like, what would that look like in postpartum?
So postpartum would look like mom and dad and baby, or mom and mom, or dad and dad come home from hospital with their newborn baby. And mostly people wanted overnights. So I would come in at like 6 p.m. and stay until maybe 6 a.m. And then I was basically, you know, if mom was breastfeeding, when baby woke up, I'd bring the baby there. Mom would breastfeed, or mom would come in, then change, swaddle, and then I'd put baby back to sleep so mom could go to sleep. And then on other levels, it was making sure that, you know, everything was clean for them in the kitchen, making sure that there was food, maybe making sure that the baby's laundry was done, and a lot of then processing and kind of helping the family adjust, because it's such a sensitive time and it's such a special time and sacred time, but there's a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings. So I would kind of navigate that with the parents and just make sure everyone is adjusting well. Everyone's getting to know each other. It's a new way of being, which you guys know as
That's
parents.
so cool.
Yeah.
What a gift to those families, because like you said, that is such it's a shocking transition to make, and to have someone that's like experienced like there must be very comforting for them. Thank you to Rosetta Stone for sponsoring this portion of today's episode.
Do you want to learn a different language? Because I do. And I've been struggling with where to start with that, because there's a lot to do. Rosetta Stone, though, is a really good resource.
Rosetta Stone has been a trusted expert for 30 years.
30 years?
With millions of users and 25 languages offered. Languages like Spanish, French, Italian, German, Korean, Chinese, Japanese, Dutch, Arabic, Polish. I almost said Arabic. It's Arabic. And they help you learn it fast, too. They have fast language acquisition. It immerses you in many ways, which I know is really what it takes to actually be fluent in another language. It's an intuitive process. So you pick up a language naturally, first with the words, then phrases, then sentences.
That's cool.
It's designed for long-term retention.
That's
they even
cool.
have a speech recognition feature. This is actually really cool.
No
With
way.
built-in true accent feature, gives you feedback on your pronunciation, like having a personal trainer for your accent, which is really cool. So then you don't sound like a white person trying to speak Spanish.
That's actually really cool that you can talk to Rosetta Stone and then it can tell you if you're doing the pronunciation or like the accent right. I did not know that we had that technology in 2024.
With language I know that consistency is really important, and it's really easy to be consistent because it has a flexible learning format. You can do it anytime, anywhere. You can learn on the go. They even have a mobile app, or you can do it on your desktop, whatever works on your schedule. And they have lifetime memberships on all 25 languages that they offer for any and all trips and language needs in life. That's lifetime access to all 25 language courses through Rosetta Stone. Don't put off learning that language. There's no better time than right now to get started. For a short time, Unplanned listeners can get Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership holiday special. This offer will not last long. Visit rosettastone.com/unplanned. That's unlimited access to 25 language courses for the rest of your life.
Wow.
Redeem your holiday offer at rosettastone.com/unplanned today for yourself or as a gift that keeps on giving. Is having children something you guys want to do one day?
Yeah, we definitely want kids. We are blessed to be able to make the decision when it happens.
Yeah.
No surprises. So,
Yeah. That's right.
you know what I mean? So we get to plan, and we're planning on a
Yeah.
constant basis of making sure our world looks right. And then there's that time where you just have to like throw it in the wind and say, okay, just, take it. We'll get there.
That's
no
awesome.
unplanned podcast with us and babies.
No, that's literally a big reason why we call this the
Hey,
Unplanned
you could
podcast.
get another dog.
Yeah.
Unplanned. They could just show up
That's
one day.
true.
That's true. We could just find one
Yeah.
on the side of the road. Wait, so your first pregnancy was unplanned?
No.
Second.
Oh,
Second.
Yeah.
Second.
That's why they're 13 months apart. But you know what? It was. We didn't know it was part of the plan, but it was part of the plan the whole time. We just
Yeah.
didn't know it, and
Yeah.
it's been awesome.
I love that.
That is close, though. I can understand being that early into your postpartum, and
Yeah.
just when you're starting to maybe find your feet again, to find out you're pregnant can be kind of traumatic.
It was a little bit, yeah. I had like a big surgery in between too, and so I was like 1 month out from that, and I was like, oh wow, we're doing it again. Yeah. But it's been awesome. They're a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm so curious also if this question is like too much, no worries at all. But like with having kids, do you think you'd maybe adopt? Do you think you might like look into a donor or something? Like what does that process look like?
I mean, there's so many versions of that process that we
Yeah.
can get into. There's donor, there's adoption, there's surrogate, there's we carry, there's all kinds of things. And I think that looking forward and what works best for us will just present itself. We are believers in the universe, and like just like how you said, the second one is unplanned, but it's a part of the plan. I think that when it's time for us to sit down and make that choice, what the easiest route will be is what we were supposed to have. So we talk about all versions of it, and it looks cool either way. I mean, the dream is she has a baby that looks like me and I have a baby that looks like her, and we birth it. You know what I mean?
I'm sure other people can relate to this feeling. When you are in love with someone, there are those moments where you look at them and you're just like, oh, I just want that person. I want that little version, or I want to see what we would be together, and that is kind of at times, I mean, some people can say that's a narcissistic thought or a pattern or whatever. But in a perfect world, if like I could mix us together and have that baby, I'd totally want to. The closest thing we could kind of get to that is taking one of our eggs. Like if I had egg retrieval and then implanted into Raven, then she would birth my genetic baby, but carried my genetic baby, which I think is the closest that a lesbian couple can, or a gay couple can get to that. But super cool. I mean, that would be amazing.
Cool.
But that also requires a lot of
medicine on our bodies,
medicine
a
and
lot
hormones
of things to do with us
that we're not totally
down
in
for.
love with. But
That's tough.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, is either one of you eager to be pregnant? Because I know, like, at least in our relationship, already Abby's like...
you saying, like, when you were in love with someone, you're like, I just want to have babies with you.
Yeah.
Like, I totally felt that, like, right away.
That's the feeling. And but neither of us are necessarily eager to...
I was eager. I was more eager to have a kid at like 15.
Okay.
I really did. I wanted to be pregnant from 15 until like I really saw a pregnancy happen.
You're like, it's
Yeah.
not.
And I was like, woo!
Oh, yeah.
I'm not doing that. That's wide. That's wide. So I can't. But it was a beautiful experience. Gorgeous. I love it. Maybe not for me. Epidural scared the crap out of me. And I do feel like if I did birth, I'd have to be like In an ocean with a dolphin, with multiple sounds of she-shells around me. She-shells. And an entire village chanting hoo-ha.
And then you literally would be like in the water screaming bloody murder, not
With
getting
the
a
blood moon
fuck about any of those things at all. You'd be like, get me out of this goddamn ocean. You'd be like, kill that fucking flipper.
No.
You're like, literally. That was so not such a cute plan,
I'd be like
babe.
this the whole time.
That's
No,
beautiful.
babes. Can I have that?
Let me just tell you.
Can I do that?
You can have that. We
During
always
the full
in
moon?
my doula work, when I would talk to my clients, I'd say, have your wish list. Know it's a wish list, and know that the likelihood of you getting that wish list is unlikely, because birth very rarely goes to plan. It really
I'm
just
planning it.
you can plan.
It's gonna happen in
plan
Fiji.
all you.
Fiji.
Now we're
Going to Fiji. Yeah, we're going to Fiji. That's where I'm
Goddamn.
birthing my
Whose
child.
baby are you having? I guess I don't know where I fit
In
into that.
Fiji.
Yeah, me. I'm gonna be there in a giant sun hat. Like, go off, babes. Push that thing out.
Sunscreen.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
exactly.
And Vaseline.
Let's go. All you need is Vaseline to get that baby out.
Yeah, literally.
Let's go.
Oh my gosh,
Ridiculous.
I wish.
Ridiculous.
That's crazy.
That's so funny.
You're like, I've seen some things. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. I mean,
do
that's.
it.
I think that similar to you though. As a kid, I
You want a
really wanted
blood
to be
moon?
pregnant. Yeah, blood moon birth. I really wanted to be pregnant. Like I used to take, like balls and put them under my shirt, and I was like, oh, cool, fun. And that kind of, I wanted to be a mother. That really stayed with me. But as I've gotten older, I think that seeing some things and knowing my body, it's such a personal thing, right? And understanding my body, my relationship to my body, I get more and more hesitant around pregnancy, but at the same time, I also understand that the female body is incredible
Oh, yeah.
and built to birth. Like every woman can do it, and I know that as well. You know, our bodies are amazing,
Truthfully.
so strong.
What was the tipping point for you? Because you said, you used to walk around with a ball underneath your shirt and you're like, I want to be pregnant.
Yeah.
Was it a certain birth that you witnessed as a doula, or was it a certain moment as a teenager where you realized, oh, this is a lot more than I expected it to be?
Well, okay, just to clarify, I was like 5 years old doing the belly. I wasn't like 17, like putting basketballs in it. Like, oh my god!
Let's just get the record straight.
Yeah, it's just like my mom got pregnant around that time when I was 5, and then I wanted to do it too. You know, like little girl with her doll
Yeah.
situation. But I think that my brain, the way that I work, is people romanticize a lot of things in life that I find really difficult. And I think that as beautiful and as amazing as having children is, it's also really difficult. And it really can change your life. And pregnancy, people don't talk about that enough, I think, how hard it can be and how okay it also is to be pregnant and not enjoy the process. And it's also okay to have kids and not love every moment of it. And it's also okay to be in a position where you're like, I don't know if I want kids, and maybe I do want kids, and go back and forth and regret each decision, you know, as it is. Like I talked to someone once who said, I knew that if I didn't have kids, I'd regret it, but I also regret having kids every day. But I adore my children, but I struggle with the fact that I can't just be free in this world and live how I used to live. And I think that those are really honest conversations that don't make anyone bad. And I wish that more people had them. So for me, to answer your question, there wasn't a specific moment per se. The first birth I did attend was extremely traumatic for that person. And I was like, holy shit, that looks intense. Like having to,
it is.
yeah, I mean, but this baby like wasn't coming out, and it was, you know, we have to suction this baby out of you. And I mean, the mother tore significantly. There are horror stories around this, but again, it's like, that wouldn't deter me, nor would I want it to deter anyone from having a child. That is one reality, but everyone's survived and everyone's well, and people get through what they can get through, you know? So I don't know if I really answered your question or I just talked for a really long time, but
I would go back to it. I think when she realized how she works and her body works, then she realized that probably birthing a child is not for her. She grew into her own body. She grew into her choices and how she wants to represent herself in the world. And I think that's when it kind of clicked for her.
And also caring, like, knowing how I relate to my body, I don't know if having that many bodily changes would be good for my mental health. I don't know. And I'm not saying no, totally. I'm just saying I don't know, but I'm also 37 now. You know, time's a wasted.
Listen, there's people out here having babies at 62. Let's go.
I feel like Raven will get pregnant at 52.
Let's go.
And she's like, I am Janet Jackson. Yeah, let's do this.
My uterus
I am the
is
bride.
ready.
Let's go. Yeah. Okay.
Uterus
No,
is
uterus.
ready.
Her uterus is ready. You sound like Tiffany. Crazy.
Wait, you say uterus is ready?
Yes.
The uterus.
No.
My uterus is
You gotta get this right out because
Well-
uterus is funny.
What did she say?
She thought you said universe, but I was like, she needs to hear you correctly because saying uterus is ready is way more funny than universe. Stop.
Okay. It's funny you say that though, because I've heard of like women freezing their eggs because people are having babies later and later in life for financial reasons or just personal reasons, whatever. And you mentioned surrogacy earlier. Would that ever be something you'd consider as like maybe freezing an egg and then maybe when you are 52, you have the baby, but it's not you, it's a surrogate? Like, has that ever been an idea that you guys have had?
Yeah, most definitely. That has been an idea. And I think we always go back to the conversation of that requires a lot of hormones to be placed in our body.
Yeah.
And that's a little scary for me. I've definitely fluctuated with weight my whole entire life and my own personal, ideas about health and what I'm okay with putting in my body and what I'm not. And it's scary. Just plain and simple as scary. You know what I mean? And I'm also kind of the believer in, to say this correctly, it's like don't overexhaust your options. There could be someone in adoption that's perfect for you and that route is easier. And I do believe that the quickest route to happiness is a straight path. There's not 17 turns and people are like, no, it's the journey. I'm like, I like an easy HOV lane. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to take 17 turns to get to where I need to. Maybe the universe is telling me to stop and do something a little bit easier. So again, I answer like all the thoughts have happened. And at every point, it's like, what makes us happy? Because we have to be happy enough for that child when that child comes into the world, when that soul comes into the world.
And our philosophy in life is also one of acceptance versus resistance. So really, everything that has happened for Raven and I on the up track, meaning like getting married, buying homes, starting a business, like it was easy. It was seamless. There was of course, like we have our moments, right? Like we're human, but the really big things, they just fell into place organically. We didn't have to force anything. And so I think that will be even with Quinn, it was just like Raven saw him, found him. It was easy. I believe that that's what our life will be when it comes to children.
And if we want something and it seems a little bit farther away, we're still going to work towards that goal, but just not like jam it in because it might not be ready. It might not be ripe enough to pick.
We have some friends that adopted a sweet baby girl, and just seeing their family flourish as this, as they brought this little girl in their family. I don't know. It's really sweet. So I love that adoption is also something you guys are considering because it's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing. Ultimately, I think the soul picks the parents at the end of the day, and some souls come through the body and it's like, I don't think you're really a part of my soul group. You know what I mean? This child is crazy. And then there's some people, you can adopt and be like, this was supposed to be my child from the very beginning. You never know what the universe gives you. And I do believe that, again, a soul will pick us. He picked us. That's why he's so good.
Quinn. Yeah. Okay, I have to talk about That's So Raven because that show, I was telling Matt, I was like marked my childhood in so many ways. And it was so interesting going back and looking like when it came out was 2003.
Yeah.
The first and I told Matt, I was like, I was shocked that it was only 4 seasons because I watched that show literally like from when it came out to when I was like in high school. I think they just played
so much. It went 5 seasons. It went 100 episodes.
5 seasons.
Yeah,
Okay.
you got 100 episodes, and Disney at that time definitely knew how to elongate the lifespan of a show.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised you watched it for that long.
Oh my gosh. And like it's probably, I will say this, I think it's the one show that I watched as a kid that I'd be like, I would still love that so much as an adult.
Aw.
Like seriously, it's like actually so funny. It's because you are so funny.
Thank you.
You're so good with comedy, and I feel like a lot of the humor in it is just like, obviously it was made for children, but I feel like adults would find it equally funny. Like, you're just such a physical comedian. It's just so fun to watch.
Thank you.
I was telling Matt, I was like, I grew up saying "oh snap" because Raven said "oh snap." I grew up saying "you nasty." I say "you nasty" to him all the time.
I was today years old when I found out
that's where
"you
you got
nasty"
it?
was from That's So Raven.
That's
like,
funny.
yes.
You nasty.
So I'm sure you get asked a lot, but did you grow up watching that?
Oh my gosh. Here we go again.
Oh, no.
Okay, let me try this time to say it correctly. No.
I love
Oh
her
my
so
gosh.
much.
No.
Okay, this was a controversy, wasn't
Oh,
it?
it's huge.
This
It
was a big
was huge.
controversy
I'm so
because no, it's okay. Here's the deal. I've come to understand where I went wrong in the conversation. Raven is an icon. Raven is, especially in the Black community, what Raven did for young girls and young boys who wanted that visibility, who were lacking it at that time, is incredible.
You were the first female, like Black female, to have a show named after you.
Correct.
Incredible.
Wow.
Yeah. So her accomplishments have nothing to do with my not watching her show. And there was crossover there where people thought that because I didn't grow up watching it, that meant that reflected on something within our dynamic today or me today. I now, since us being together, have seen everything that Raven has been in almost. I mean, from A Girl Like Grace to College Road Trip to That's So Raven to Raven's
No, you didn't
Home.
start with A Girl Like
I
Grace.
sure did, because
she's out here trying to comfort y'all trolls right
I
now
am.
with A Girl Like
I
Grace.
literally
She
am.
literally started with a on principle.
Like,
Oh my God.
how many of you have seen A Mighty Oak?
Don't ever say that out
Have
loud,
you?
babes.
I mean, there you go. I know her resume is my point through and through.
Yes.
I'm in it. And when we were talking earlier about people who just kind of pick and choose
Yeah.
what they want to hear and run with,
Yeah.
that is what happened.
She took her earrings off just then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute.
Okay.
I have a couple people I have a few words for.
Yeah, exactly. But no, my point is that I understand where people were coming from me and thinking that I was disrespecting Raven-Symoné and her talent and her impact, but that wasn't the intention. And I know Raven-Symoné. I also know Raven, my wife, and That's So Raven, when we talk about that show, is fantastic. It is so funny. It's amazing because she's an amazing physical comedian, and adults do like it. Watching it as an older person, my sister was obsessed with it. So it was on in my house. My sister's 5 years younger than me. Also, that's the other thing. It came out in 2003. I can't do mental math for shit, but I'm 37. I don't know.
We were around the same age, and I will be honest, I wasn't watching the network that I was on at that age.
At
I was
like
watching
17
other things.
or whatever, I wasn't watching the Disney Channel.
Yeah.
I would catch moments of it when my sister had it on, but now, having really sat down and watched the show as an adult, it's brilliant. It's unmatched. Like,
Totally.
Raven should have had all the Emmys by now and all the accolades and all the flowers, because that show is brilliant. They were all brilliant.
Thanks, babes.
Yeah, Orlando, Annalisa, like, they were all. It was a really good show.
And over this miscommunication, people were DMing you death threats. Is that true?
Yeah, it went crazy.
I'm so sorry.
It went really wild. I know.
Thank you to Apostrophe for sponsoring this portion of today's episode. With all the hustle and bustle of the holidays, it can be hard to remember to take care of yourself.
There's a lot going on. It can be pretty stressful.
And you know what? I'm turning 26. By the time they see this, I will have just turned 26 and feel like I'm starting to actually see aging on myself.
On me or you?
Myself. Well,
Oh.
I don't want to speak for you.
You look so young and beautiful,
Thank
sweetie.
you.
Yeah.
But I am seeing the first signs of it. I really am. I was looking in the mirror. I was like, wow, there's some wrinkles happening.
I've noticed that myself.
It's bound to happen, right?
you can't-
But I don't think there's anything wrong with taking care of yourself. If that's
Yes.
something you want to do, that's what Apostrophe believes. Apostrophe's goal is to help you feel confident in your own skin. Whether you're dealing with breakouts, signs of aging, or acne scarring, Apostrophe will help you love the skin you're in. I have had such a great experience with Apostrophe. So basically, it was really easy. It's all on my phone, like mobile. You simply fill out an online consultation about your skin goals and medical history. You snap a few selfies, and a dermatology provider will create a customized treatment plan just for you. And it shipped so fast. So I was like, hey, I'm noticing a couple of wrinkles, especially my forehead. I feel like I'm just like such an expressive person. It causes some wrinkles, which is fine. But I'm excited to start reversing those signs of aging with my Apostrophe skincare. And Apostrophe offers access to prescription treatments for all types of acne, from hormonal acne to facial acne, and even back and chest and butt acne.
Wow.
Treat breakouts from head to toe. Head to toe to booty cheek.
You got butt cheek in there, but you somehow snuck in butt acne to that sentence.
No shame. We have a special deal for our audience. Get your first visit for only $5 at apostrophe.com/unplanned when you use our code unplanned. That's a savings of $15. This code is only available to our listeners. To get started, just go to apostrophe.com/unplanned and click get started. Then use our code unplanned at sign up and you'll get your first visit for only $5. Thank you, Apostrophe, for sponsoring this episode.
Being out publicly and putting myself in a position to engage with people means you most likely will get people who dislike you or want to troll you or have opinions about you. Once you're kind of a public person, that is just what happens. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, I am okay with it because most things are so distant. Like when people say things, people will say really unhinged things and they're so far from the truth. I can't let it penetrate. It doesn't penetrate. But that scenario in particular was just growing and growing and growing to such a big scale that I was like, this feels different.
Yeah.
And the only other time things will kind of ping me is when somebody actually says something that is true. Like they pick up on an insecurity of mine, or they say something that I'm like, oh, okay, I was struggling with that. Or I hear myself say something and I'm like, I understand how somebody may have heard that even though that wasn't my intention. I've had to learn. It's hard. When you have these conversations, people don't give other people grace and think that like, oh, something could have happened behind the scenes that I'm not aware of. They take you at such face value. And
she's not the only one. I mean, I had my version of that when I was on The View learning. When you're on a
public
live type of, what is it called? When you're on a live podcast or a live cast, like a television show or something like that, you do have to kind of learn the rules of how to explain your opinion without offending the world. And that's difficult because not everybody's going to have the same opinion as you. And I think that anytime you do receive any kind of fame or anything like that, your word choice is important. And the way you place your thoughts in the minds of others is important. And it's a learning curve, and hopefully, being that we're smart humans, we will continue to learn and be open to that education.
Yeah, I remember seeing like a clip that I think people had mistook for something else that you were saying. I don't know if it was on The View or maybe it's the one I'm thinking of right now is the one when you were talking with Oprah. But I knew you were just trying to say that I am a human. I want to be called an American just as anybody else in America. I can understand like in that moment with what you were saying. As a white guy, I don't have to say I'm a German American. Abby doesn't have to go, I'm a, what's your family
Where
from?
are you from, Abby?
Yeah, Ireland.
Where's your family
I'm an Irish
from?
American. Like no white
You
people
don't have
has
to say that.
Nobody white has to say anything like that. So I completely understood what you're trying to say, but I was so bummed that people saw an opportunity to, run with that and try to make it make it more than what it was.
I take ownership in it as well because I didn't over explain it for people for people to then fully understand what I said, because I have the problem of I said what I said. Figure it out. Like that's my problem because I think it's so obvious.
Yeah.
But there has been a resurgence of that clip, and a lot of people in the white community was like, we understand, and the black community is also starting to understand because I didn't say it right the first time. I mean, I said what I said and I meant it, but I didn't explain it the correct way. And you just explained it. As a white person, you don't have to say that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can say you're Irish,
Yep.
but you don't have to click on or check on a box on a piece of paper, Irish American.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Is that really what it is on it? Like when you're checking a piece of paper, it would come up as African American. It wouldn't just say like black or white.
It'll say black African American.
Okay.
There's nothing that just says it. We categorize ourselves here.
Yeah.
But when I go overseas, I'm an American.
Interesting. No, that
They
is
don't
so
call me
weird.
African American overseas.
I've never once had to check a box that says German American.
Exactly.
It's never been a
No,
thing
it's
for me.
White.
Exactly. Even if you are from another country.
Yeah.
And you're first generation or immediately here, you still just get to check Caucasian white.
Yeah.
It's interesting. When my ancestors' blood is in this soil. It's interesting.
Yeah. How did you handle that? How did you handle that whole situation? Because I
I
can't-
disassociate.
Like, let's
You're
be
not
totally.
playing.
I'm not joking. I disassociated. I literally was like, I tried to clean it up again. I did a 23andMe, and I messed up again. I did a Freudian slip, and I was like, I said some crazy stuff, and I got, raked across the coals for that again. And then I just realized I'm gonna keep my thoughts to myself. Like, I've been doing
Yeah.
that for so long before I got into that chair with Oprah that, me trying to explain who I was and my thoughts on life didn't really go over so well. And I just kind of stayed to myself. But then I chose to be on The View and did it a whole bunch again. And I don't think anything's wrong with it. I just think, again, it's the muscle that I had to learn to do it correctly. You can speak your truth. This is a free country. You just have to be ready for explaining it or over explaining it and making sure that you say it at the right time.
Yeah.
I have a problem of saying things a little early where people are not on that wavelength yet. But my mom woke up. She was like, everybody agrees with you now. Everybody agrees with you now. And I was like, hilarious, because, a white man said he understood.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What was your conversation with your family like in that time? Did they align with you and
No, they were
knowing where
mad.
you're coming from? They were mad.
They were mad that I said it that way. They were like, Raven, you didn't explain it properly. You're African American. I said, I'm black and I'm an American and I have African descent in me. And if you test my blood, I also have American Indian. I also have a lot of other things. And for me to be placed in one box and just call me that for the ease of others, I think is unfair. And they were like, why didn't you say that? I said, because I was nervous. Oprah's sitting
You're
in front of
talking
me.
to freaking Oprah.
I had an alaya on.
Yeah.
My hair was done. I'm nervous.
Yeah.
And I was young. Like, I'm older now. I figured it out. I don't
It's
change
hard,
my thought.
though. It's so hard to get your words right.
Yeah.
I mean, I have always thought of myself as a pretty well-spoken, articulate person, and I'll hear things back that I've said, and I'm like, Miranda, like, why did you say that? And I think when you understand how people, it's almost like you have to be extremely black and white or extraordinarily vague. You either have to be like, can't leave any room for interpretation on
Yeah.
certain subjects, or people will just attach meaning to either end of the spectrum, and then you're just screwed if that wasn't your intention.
I'm actually going to come after you, babes.
Come
You could-
after me?
Yeah.
Okay.
You could say it black, white, or extremely vague, and they'll still come after you because people are bored. And
Well,
people
that-
just
Yeah.
want to come after you to come after you.
That is true. People, yes, some people will, but
For your sanity, you need to be
yeah,
clean.
I'm saying,
I understand
or
what you're
maybe
saying.
to give you peace of mind, right? Like if you're asking me a point blank question, and if I am just like, no, I don't want to do that, then I've completed my answer versus I'm not sure. And then someone could be like, do you see how passive she was? Do you see how she like clearly wants to, but she couldn't say yes?
Yeah.
Do you see how uncomfortable she was in that moment? It's like, it allows a lot more room for speculation,
Yeah.
I guess is what I'm saying.
I think you're right, though. I think people are bored, and I think we all get bored, and we all want to, know what the tea is, know what the gossip is, and so oftentimes people create mountains out of molehills. They create something that used to not even exist just because it's something to talk about. It's something to gossip about.
Most definitely.
And I think especially like in your case, when you have this squeaky clean image and you're so funny and so likable and you're the Disney kid, and then people can find a clip of you maybe not having the best word choice, I think just with the nature of the world is and how people want to get their 5 seconds of fame, they're going to be like, oh, I can't believe this is what was said. Oh my gosh. Even though, you know, like we just discussed, we completely know what your intentions were and what you were actually saying.
Mm-hmm. And then I was always told that they build you up to break you down.
Yeah.
When you're a celebrity in this industry, no matter what kind of fame you have, people will root for you all the way to the top.
Yeah.
And they'll root for you all the way to the bottom. We love it. We love to hate it. It's just the nature of the industry when you put yourself in front of the camera and allow people to connect to you. You know, I always say too, there's like a difference, right? Tom Cruise, huge star.
Yeah.
Huge, right?
Yep.
Angelina Jolie, wow.
Movie
huge.
stars.
Denzel Washington, wow. Sorry. And then, wow. Denzel? What I'm saying, Denzel, you ain't got nothing. And it's like, Denzel.
Oh, that.
But then you have celebrities on television. Ray Romano, Seinfeld. And it's like, cool. But because they're in your television on a small screen over and over and over and over again, you feel like you know them in a different way. Because they're in your house.
Yeah.
You see them every week. They're telling a family story. You know, there's a connection compared to you're on this big screen. You're larger than life. I
Yeah.
can't really touch that. Oh my goodness, I'm going to cry compared to somebody you watch every single week, maybe 2 or 4 times a week. And it's a different kind of celebrity. It's a more, you're my sister. Come on, have some food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hang out on the couch.
Exactly. You don't know me, man. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's a different kind of thing. And
Totally.
I bring that up for when you say the wrong thing or you have
Yeah.
your words differently, they take it worse.
More personal,
It's more
maybe.
personal.
It's
Thank
also,
you.
it's like, because Angelina Jolie and Tom Cruise and Denzel, they've all had their fair share of press, right? But it's from a place of people speculating. It's almost like a massive rumor mill. Like
Yeah.
people never really touch those things. It's not like Tom Cruise said something crazy and therefore people are like, can you believe he said that? It's like we are thinking that Tom Cruise is doing this behind closed doors. Or we
Another
think-
layer to
yeah.
it.
Another layer.
And so those people don't even have to touch the rumors. It's very different when you also are putting yourself out there, like on a View or something like that, or an interview.
Or if you're in the people's eye
yeah.
holes
I mean, well, that's because they feel that. Like
Yeah,
you're
they feel
saying,
that
that
connection.
super connection. Yeah.
But more like you being on television, like you said, in people's like living rooms 2 to 4 times a week. Like I remember growing up how the show That's So Raven was obviously hilarious, but you guys did touch on some deep topics that
Yeah.
like memorable episodes that I remember now, well in my 20s, like about body image and race, those things. I was curious, like, did you have any type of influence when it comes to script writing and stuff like that when it came to that process?
Not on That So Raven, no. The people that were involved with my team at the time. And so to connect that bridge, I think my team was a part of it mostly. I did get producer credit on the last season.
Oh, cool.
But I was so busy with all of the antics and things that I wasn't able to actually learn the process of producing like I wanted to. That only happened when I got to Raven's home. When I really started to learn producing. And even then, I tend to stay out of the writer's room. It's a cherished space. It is a different world. And that's not my world. I am visual. I love directing. I love organizing people in a space and making it look natural. I love taking the writer's words and bringing it to life. So that's the kind of producer, director I am.
Yeah. Very cool. It's really cool how like you were able to totally make that message come to life in a way that was like digestible to children, because I mean it has such a profound impact, and I mean I can say that from a personal experience. So I don't know, like what is it like to carry that type of, like so many people come to you and say like you're an icon, like you marked my childhood, like how do you process that, or like what does that mean to you?
I kind of want to say something before I answer the question, because you talked about how That's So Raven touched on a lot of different topics that are very heavy. And one of my favorite Disney quotes is a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. And I think that's the beautiful thing about comedy.
Yeah.
If you really go back in the history of comedy, one of the biggest spoons of medicine that we took with sugar. Not really sugar. It was actually kind of sour, but it was, anyway, candy coated. All in the Family had a very deep episode about rape. And you had that moment, you sat in it, and then when you came back, you were laughing. And to be able to be a part of a medium that can touch on serious topics and then also have brevity with it and bring it back and forth, that to me, that's closer to life than a full drama. You know what I mean? A full life isn't, sometimes, depending on where you are in your mental health state. But most of the times throughout the day, you're laughing, you're crying, you're angry, you're sad, you're laughing. It's a rotated thing. So that's comedy. The question you asked is how I dealt with it?
I guess, like, what does that mean to you?
Oh, that's awesome.
She disassociates.
I disassociate.
Yeah,
I do.
maybe.
I do. It's cool.
Yeah.
That I'm able to be a part of people's lives in such a, important part of times, an important time words.
frame?
Thank you. An important time frame of your life that I'm like honored. Thanks. Cause I had that from other people like Alex Mack and Saved by the Bell and Family Matters. Like I have that
See,
too.
that's what I was watching, you guys. We
Babes, we're the same age. We're the
Aw.
same age.
God.
Exactly. And then the L word.
And Sex in the City.
And so, yeah. Anyway.
But L word came way later. Anyway.
So I tend to disassociate. I say thank you, but while I was filming it and while I was doing it, I kind of just do my job.
It's hard work.
I kind of just do my job.
Yeah. And you've done it since you were so little.
16 months old.
Wow, 16. What was your first gig at 16 months?
I was a model and I did commercials.
Cute.
That's sweet.
Yeah, I was in the Sears catalog, you guys. Go find
The
that.
cutest baby ever.
Can you find it?
I have a picture of one of my...
You have the photo.
Dude, that's an Augie right now.
I know. Yeah, he's 15 months, about to be 16 months. And he looks like a model. He's a really cute
He's real
kid.
cute.
I love it. I'm going to look up... I think I have one picture of my first modeling gig.
It's so cute.
That's my first modeling pic.
Oh.
So much hair.
Yeah.
16 months.
Oh, that one was my modeling pic. So I was probably like maybe one and...
And you can totally tell it's you.
She's the same face. I think
That's
that's
so
part of the
sweet.
thing too
16 months
about
younger. That's a little
people
bit after.
who feel so connected to Raven is that Raven, her face hasn't changed. Like she looks exactly the same.
Thank you to June's Journey for sponsoring this portion of today's podcast.
Wait, you've been playing June's Journey for a while, haven't you?
It's been over a year that I've played
Yeah.
June's Journey. And
Yeah, you guys have some history. You and June have your history
me
together.
and June, we go way back.
Way back.
Something I talk about a lot is wanting to restrict the use of social media apps on my phone. And the way I've been able to do that is because it's still a habit to grab my phone and want
Yeah.
to turn it on and do something. But trying to rework that into like a more healthy, productive, less mind effing way.
Oh my gosh. Just play some
through
June's Journey.
Puzzles. And I'm a lover of true crime, you guys. So June's Journey has this murder mystery element to it that I eat it right up. So if you don't know what it is, June's Journey is a hidden object mystery game with captivating detective story, taking you back to the glamour of the 1920s with a diverse cast of characters. Each new scene takes you further through a thrilling murder mystery story that sets the main protagonist, June Parker, in a quest to solve the murder of her sister and uncover her family's many secrets. And this is a free-to-download mobile game where you can find objects hidden in a beautiful, colorful, carefully crafted scene. Each level is like a different place of the mansion, and you're finding these little hidden objects, and it kind of tells a whole bigger story, bigger mystery. There's always something happening in the game. You progress through the story and discover new chapters, and can also take part in events to earn additional in-game prizes. Download June's Journey for free by clicking the link in the description or by scanning the QR code on screen. June's Journey is available on iOS and Android mobile devices, as well as on PC.
Your hair is
Amazing.
Honey, all
Oh
gone.
my God. See you guys. I just want to make a baby with you.
That's what I literally saw that. I was like, you need so
Doesn't
cute.
the world want another
Babies are the
Raven-Symoné?
best.
You have the same smile. You can tell.
I have
No,
the same
and
face.
1-year-olds, you guys, like,
So fun.
he's just my
Here.
little cuddle buddy. I just hold him and he just wraps his arms
can't
around
really
me.
The cutest.
And right now our son is learning to say words, or they both are, but our 1-year-old is like learning his first words, and he just learned bye. So he just to everybody right now just waves and says bye. Bye.
Gotta get that.
I love
Gotta
it.
get that recorded.
So sweet.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
keep it.
Do you
Sweet.
guys keep your kids out of the public eye, or what's?
We don't show their faces on social media, and we did that just because we wanted to be extra safe, extra protective. We don't want to get anywhere close to the line. We want to be really careful, and we saw our content at one time moving into the family vlog, sort of genre, and we just wanted to be mindful of our kids' privacy and be mindful of, we want them to have good childhoods. So
in my mind, if people can be mean to me, they can be mean to my kids, and that's where I'm like, I can't.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, people being mean to your kid, I cannot think of anything worse.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You would see a violence in me that it would make me so hard to deal with.
Yeah.
As you should.
But
what's
I think it's different being like social media where it's like our personal lives, whereas like modeling and acting, there's another, like we're talking about layers. There's another layer. This is like stripping back another layer almost where. Yeah.
I heard this little bit on a podcast the other day, and I thought this was interesting. Someone said, he was a psychiatrist, and he said, if your children don't desire fame, you know that you've done a good job parenting them. And the person said, okay, why? And he said, because if a young child is desiring fame, what they're seeking actually is external validation. But if a child is not seeking fame, that means they've learned how to validate themselves, and therefore they don't need anything external because internally they have that system. And I was like, wow, damn, that is such, because just when you look at it, raising a child that knows how to validate themselves and feel comfortable in their skin and doesn't need the opinion of anyone outside of them to sway them in either direction is the strongest human one can form, because then they can go out in the world and thrive and learn and make mistakes and blah blah blah. But I was like, that's super interesting.
Yeah,
and of course
it's like
about my own self and blah blah blah. But
truthfully, you're like, I need to learn that.
Yeah.
But it's like they can tell themselves, I am enough.
exactly,
That's really
exactly.
cool.
I've never heard that before, and you just blew my brain up. Like, that is correct. You said it so well too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I thought you were the
sometimes
psychiatrist right
sometimes I
there
can
for a
speak
second.
well.
Yeah. No, I think maybe that is a reason maybe that is a driving force behind why some people work so hard, because they just don't feel like they're good enough.
Yeah.
And it's like hearing you're awesome, you're good, all this, like maybe that fills them up in that way, and they really just need to find a healthier way to know deep down they're enough, and they don't need anybody else to tell them they're enough.
100%. And you hear a lot of people who are famous talk about being in a room of 100 people and still feeling so lonely. And you don't have to be famous to feel that way.
Yeah.
But the question then becomes, what is going on with you internally when you have all these people praising you or whatnot, that you still feel this isolation, or you still feel like you're not good enough, or you haven't attained enough, or blah, blah, blah. That's totally a reflection of relationship with self. It has nothing to do with the external world. So, yeah. No, that's interesting.
Raven, do you feel enough? Sorry if
Oh,
that's
I don't
too...
feel it all.
Oh,
I'm dead inside.
Don't say terrible things like that. That's going to become a soundbite that goes
Put that out as a soundbite.
no.
I think you should ask.
Raven-Symoné is dead inside and not African American.
I just blew up the entire world again.
Oh no.
I think you should ask her that, because I think it's better to get the perspective from an outside situation.
The question is, does Raven feel
Enough.
feel enough in okay?
Like, I'm very.
Oh no, just like feel.
Do I need validation from others?
No, as being raised in fame, like in
right.
the public
So
eye.
Yeah.
I think that this is something interesting about Raven. Raven, I believe, had she not been positioned in the world of fame or celebrity or acting, whatever, she probably wouldn't have chosen it. I think that Raven is a very secure person, a person who is very confident, a person who does not seek external validation, which is why when people get to know her, they're like, wow, you're so grounded. You're so cool. You're so easy. Because she doesn't seek fame. She doesn't want to be a celebrity. Raven has found peace in her work, and she's accepted what she does. But I think that being a famous person for her is so peripheral to what she actually does. And now she's like, I'm a director, and she has more ownership of her career. She's choosing her lane, but she's not somebody who is impacted by the external in a way that I think a lot of people are in her industry, I think that a lot of actors would sit before you and say, I'm terribly insecure. And you're like, yeah, no shit. That's part of why you're doing this. Raven, I think, is in it because she was put in it and has made the best of it.
That's high praise.
Yeah, thanks, babes.
That's really
She
cool.
has better words than me.
That's really cool.
That's cool that you find joy in the whole creative process, not just being on camera, but the behind the scenes stuff, because that just shows the true mark of a creative
Passion.
and the passion for it.
Thank you. It took a while. It took a while to get there for sure, because when you are placed in the position that I was in, there's multiple thought processes because it's inevitable to have them. Meaning you have a show that did so well, then you go on to movies and you do music, and that's what I think, especially as a young person, I'm supposed to be doing. And then when you wake up and you're like, I need something else and I have everything. That doesn't make sense when you have everything and you still need stuff. And I was able to go to art school. I have a degree in art. And when we got married, you know, I shed all my pain. And then she was like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, I think this is what all the skills that I learned up until this age, how do I utilize that in this industry, but in a different way? And that is the creative side. That is mentoring. That is helping others that are young or old find their character and film it appropriately. And so it feels better in that area. I don't have to wear like a girdle. I don't have to put on a whole bunch of makeup. I don't have to put on heels anymore. Like I can be myself.
Yeah, I
And-
heard you talking about that. We're actually the same height.
Oh,
I
hi.
did my research.
Hi,
I was
5'5".
like, I like
How you doing, 5'5"?
Wait, you're
I
5'2".
see it. It's great up here. It's great up
It's
here.
great up here, right?
Do you know how happy made me? I was like, we're the same height.
You got me right there, Raven.
Dad's like, no,
Okay,
she's not.
For
He's like
anyone who's
3 inches
confused,
short.
Raven just
They get
tricked
it, they
us.
get it, they get it.
Abby's 5'2", okay?
Matt,
am
what's it
5'.
like being married to these tall women, right? Isn't it crazy?
It's great, right?
Like, does your neck hurt all the time?
He's
when you have to
intimidated
look up?
daily.
Yeah, I
exactly.
bet.
I know that.
No,
You
it's
guys
actually-
are these
when-
Amazonian women that we're married
When we
to.
stand in a mirror, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a foot taller than you.
Literally yesterday on the camera, he was like, oh my gosh. I was
That's
like,
what I say too, and then I get pushed.
see, I don't even feel short.
I don't push forward. I just push down a little bit.
Exactly. Sorry,
Oh,
that's-
there we
yes,
go,
yes,
babes.
yes.
That's better.
Like, you don't need
okay.
a kneecap.
Wait, actually, legitimate question. In our relationship, like, Abby likes to be pampered, and she likes me to plan the date night and to, you know, be like, hey, surprise, babe, we're going on this trip. Who is that person in your relationship? Who's the one who's, like, planning the date nights? Or actually, who proposed to who? That's maybe the question that I'm getting
That's
at.
what you want to lead with?
Yeah.
The proposal? Okay, go.
I proposed to her.
Ah.
I proposed to her. And then date night is funny and interesting.
Wait, you have to tell our proposal story.
He didn't ask that question. He
What's your
asked
proposal
that,
story?
And then, okay, that's the question now.
He wants to know.
Oh, babes, you want to tell? You want me to tell it?
You started off, I'll chime in.
Okay, cool. So I make the decision I want to marry her, right? And so I get a ring. It's not a huge expensive ring.
That
No, it's not
Oh,
that
because
one.
that
That's the
one
seventh one.
looks expensive. Looks pretty expensive.
We
got
had,
Can we see it? Can we see
had
the ring?
ring journeys.
Ooh.
Oh,
that is stunning.
beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Not the first one. That's the 7th?
Yeah, that's the seventh one.
This was the third.
Now you're being serious.
Dead
Wait.
ass.
No.
Wait, what?
We'll tell you guys. No. You guys remember it was COVID. Yeah. You have to remember it
Her
was
face is like, oh.
No, you have to remember it was COVID, and the ring that Raven proposed to me with was always like, this is a placeholder, if you will, and then we'll go find something.
Okay, yeah.
And then I worked with a few different jewelers, and I had really bad jeweler luck. We had 3 rings made, and every single one essentially broke in a different way. It was very bizarre, but I think that time of
And
everyone's life was weird.
And then when we were actually getting married, the thing that I put in our hand was actually something from an antique shop. So like it was just
literally, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, we have to get bands, and it's so funny because that photo of those
It's
rings
everywhere.
is the one that like People Magazine published, so it got like pushed around.
it
and I
literally
was
cost
like,
me $20 like
and
each one.
We went to like a
But
flea
like
market.
Raven is cheap.
Yeah,
like it's about love. It's not about the money.
Exactly.
we went to a flea market,
Exactly.
found a matching pair, and it was so cheap. It was the type that had like the hole in the back, so you could pinch it to fit your finger. You guys know what I'm
wait,
talking
for
about?
the wedding?
Yeah,
Yes.
for the wedding.
Like it literally, like I was.
It's
we should've
COVID,
just-
you guys.
It
we
worked.
should have just
It
used
worked.
tinfoil for fuck's sake. Like that would have been chicer.
Your potatoes would have suffered.
I don't care. Okay, fine.
Anyway,
the
back
proposal.
to this proposal. So I actually order a beautiful little something from David Yurman, like something. You know, it's baby pink. It's so cute. And did you say?
Yeah, you did. It was cute.
Okay.
It was cute and pink, and I think it was
Too big.
no, it wasn't too big. I'm trying to remember what the stone was.
Yeah, it was a stone.
I know. I was trying to remember what the stone was, which is why I said,
So
Don't come for me, everyone.
I drive up to my favorite
beautiful.
place in California, which is like over in Las Virgenes, which if you know what that is, it's like over by Malibu. We're up on the top of a mountain, La Puema Road. I've been going there since I was younger. I was like, this is my spot.
Super windy road.
Super windy road. Gorgeous. However, the day that I choose to do this is the most overcast you could possibly imagine. So you're not seeing all as far as the eye can see. I don't care. I get up there. I dress, which means I'm in labels at the
She's
time.
a little bit of a hype beast. She was
Little
like
hype
all
beast.
her designs.
I was labeled out.
I didn't. I was like frizzy haired. I have really curly hair. It was like totally frizzy. I was wearing one of her oversized sweaters and a pair of like, I don't know, random jeans, whatever.
And so I get on.
So you weren't expecting it.
No.
That's the real question. Were you expecting it?
A little bit.
Oh.
Like I felt something. I felt something coming, but I didn't know. Yeah.
Like you expected it in the car?
Yeah.
Anyway, so
The truth comes out.
so mad right now.
We'll talk about this later.
So mad. And back to
Did you
my
see the
story.
disappointment in her face? She was just. Anyway.
Anyway, so I stand there, and you can start. You can start the rest of the combo.
So Raven stands before me and she looks at me and she goes, I'm not going to kneel because I'm in Gucci. And I was like, what? And then she basically goes, like, I wish I could remember it closer to this. But the gist of it was this. Hey, Miranda, I think that you're pretty fucking great. And I think that we should get married and just like do this. Are you in or are you out? And then like she shows me a ring.
I'll explain why later.
She shows me a ring, and I swear to God, I was like, yes, of course. And I look down at the ring, and when I look up, she's gone. And I was like, what the hell? Where
This
did
is
she?
not expected.
No. And Raven is running across this 2-car highway where it's like people are whipping the fuck around. She's running across. She runs to the other side of the road and then like throws her hands up, all like Jesus Christ. And I look at her and I'm like, did I just get proposed to? Like, did this really? I kind of
Is this
felt
the
like,
moment?
I was like, this is. I was like, but that's
She knew
not-
it was coming, so it don't even matter now.
I know, but I was like,
Okay, so
this is
here's what
us.
happened.
It was hilarious. It was so quintessentially us.
You're welcome.
Thank you to Lumi for sponsoring this portion of today's episode.
Do you smell? Because
Oh
I
my
smell
God.
really bad, and I could use some
Freaking
Lumi.
Terrible today.
I just ordered some deodorant that's arriving later today, so I smell really bad right now.
How did you let yourself run out? Also, I'm shocked. You're 26, but you smell like a 14-year-old boy after PE.
I ran out of deodorant, and it's coming in. I should have put on some Lumi today. That's what I should have
Okay,
done.
tell me, do you think it's rude to give someone deodorant as a gift?
You could give Lumi as a gift. It's actually really good deodorant.
Well, Lumi doesn't just have deodorant. It's not normal deodorant. They have a whole body deodorant. It was actually created by an OBGYN who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Lumi has been proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. And after many requests, they formulated a new product to keep you smelling fresh and help you stay drier. Lumi whole body deodorant, like I was saying, plus sweat control. The same 72-hour odor control, now with 72-hour sweat control. You guys, Lumi's great. They have so many different products. I also really love their body wipes that they have. I just keep them in the center console of my car because I always go to the gym and then end up running other errands, and you can just kind of give yourself a little spot, wipe down, you're clean, smelling better, good to go. Lumi's awesome, and Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like a mini body wash or the deodorant wipes that I recommend, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. And if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off their starter pack. Use code UNPLANNED for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. That's code UNPLANNED at LumeDeodorant.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Thank you to Nutrafol for sponsoring this portion of today's episode.
Are you losing your hair? Because I am actually. Male pattern baldness is a thing. I've been taking the Nutrafol and it's great.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted with over 1 million people. See thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. I was first interested in trying Nutrafol because I was experiencing very normal but also like kind of annoying postpartum hair shedding.
Yeah.
I remember just being in the shower, running my fingers through my hair and just having like clumps of it, which is very normal, but also I wanted to do something about it because I loved having thick hair. I had very thick hair before and I could just feel it thinning so fast, and Nutrafol is something that I was taking consistently. And I still take consistently, and I feel like my hair is something I get the most compliments on, and I love when people say how thick it is. It's really cool because it's physician formulated with 100% drug-free ingredients. Nutrafol supports healthy hair growth from within by targeting key root causes of thinning, which is stress, hormones, aging, nutrition, lifestyle, and metabolism through whole body health. Building a hair growth routine is simple. Purchase online, no prescription required. Automated deliveries and free shipping keep you on track. Thinning hair is different for men and women, so a one-size-fits-all approach to hair growth doesn't cut it, and Nutrafol has multiple formulas for men and women that are tailored to different life stages and lifestyle factors so you can get what you need. Whether you're gifting to yourself or a loved one, give the gift of great hair growth this holiday season. Right now, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off any order. Enjoy free shipping when you subscribe. Go to Nutrafol.com and enter promo code UNPLANNEDGIFT. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code UNPLANNEDGIFT. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code UNPLANNEDGIFT.
When you're in the industry, not a lot of normal human behaviors feel like they match your life. I never felt like I had the grace, the time, or the acceptance to ever get married. I thought my life was going to be work. 16 months old, that's what I know. You know what I mean? It's like I knew how to act before I knew how to walk. So I knew how to work before I knew how to love, in that kind of sense.
Whoa.
So I'm here, I'm having a full-on panic attack, and I dissociate, and I think that I'm like not alive. So I'm like, let me run across the street, because my brain goes, if this is real, everything's going to be okay.
Wow.
And so it was, and here I am. I'm writing a book.
That's crazy.
I'm writing a book about
You're
my
writing a
life.
book.
I am. I'm writing a book. There's a lot of
A
things
memoir.
that's interesting in this brain of mine that
You said it the other day, though, in a way that I thought was really interesting, which was you could walk down the aisle on a set, you could do all of those actions in make-believe, but the reality of something happening to you was just so foreign, and you
It's
almost
scary.
need to like jolt yourself back in a way. And I was like, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because for someone like me, I was like, that just felt like I don't even.
someone's in Gucci and running away
It felt
after
like the
they
Tasmanian devil like rushed in and then like rushed back out, or like the Roadrunner. I was just left in like a little cloud of dust, and like I guess we're planning a wedding, which we did.
And it was bad too because we're on the top of the mountain. I wanted her to see the
view.
view, and it was all cloudy, and I was like, this is crazy.
It was perfect. I wouldn't have changed.
Wow.
I've never heard
And
of
so you getting to the other side with your arms over, like, I'm alive. This is happening.
We have the picture still of her literally across. The
Oh my
street.
goodness.
I know they're great.
Wow.
But not.
That's actually the craziest proposal story I've ever heard. I'll be honest with you. Sorry, what were you saying?
You're honestly not. Okay, my question is, you didn't kneel for the proposal. Was that the plan, or did you just get so panicky that you forgot to kneel and ran away?
No,
She
I was
had
in
Gucci's.
Gucci's.
Yeah, she was just in
And it was
Gucci.
dirt.
Oh, that makes
expensive.
that's
I'm
true.
not doing that.
But also, it's like it's that
Fashion.
one.
Like,
Obviously, you're wearing Gucci, but it's also that like once in a lifetime. Like you only propose once, you know. So
Yeah.
Priority.
I'm gonna be with her for the rest of
Gucci
my
will
life.
always win.
We good.
yeah.
She understands.
She understands what's going on. No. I do understand that I missed that like quintessential moment of on the knee and looking up, but I was going through something,
Yeah.
and she understands
And
that.
we're not, there are some people I think who are like very sentimental in that way and very intentional, which I think is beautiful. Raven and I match each other in the fact that we both see how there could be other versions, but we're also very okay with it just being us, and we'll laugh about certain things, and we're kind of like, it's not that precious. Because we even talk about that with our wedding. We had a little COVID wedding in a front yard. Our families weren't there. We had, a handful of friends, and it was perfect. But I sometimes am like, damn, like when I'm watching Love is Blind, I'm like, I wish I could try on a dress like that. Like, I don't know what that feels like,
But then when we were talking about what she'd wear, I'm like, do you want a dress? She's like, no, I don't want to wear a dress. So I got her a onesie jumpsuit. She didn't really have anything.
Well, that was not a onesie jumpsuit.
That's the same thing. It's a jumpsuit.
It was Gucci. Just for
Oh.
our wedding date. But when
so it could,
but
that's my
I wanna
reciprocate.
have
You know what I
the
mean?
party.
Now she has the Gucci too. Can't get on her knee.
There you go. I
You
can't
know,
get my knees either. I want to have.
I want to have a party too.
Yeah,
And I can always
like all our
re-propose.
friends.
You know what I mean? With the real ring.
Oh yeah. Oh, we could always get another ring too.
Anniversary. Do a full out wedding for your anniversary.
we could.
Yeah,
We could.
And I was thinking, next year is 5 years. That's a good number.
yes.
Like maybe we have our party then, and I
That
can
would
wear
be
like
beautiful.
3 different dresses.
Yeah.
Are you mad that you didn't get like a big 30 rose basket and like flowers and
For
lights for your proposal? Like one of those proposals that you see on TikTok.
One of those with like a band
You know what I mean?
playing,
Like
a
what
Cirque du
gondola
Soleil
maybe.
coming.
Like what Shaun White just did for Nina Dobrev.
Do you wish that you had that from me?
I don't think about it that much, because I think that type of thought pattern process in general is setting yourself up for failure, because then you're constantly comparing, and then you're going to always feel disappointed in your life. So I did not have any like preconceived idea around a proposal as like a little girl or anything. It's not like that's going to be amazing. The only thing I ever cared about with getting married was the ring. That was all I cared about, which has proven
7.
Yeah, all 7 of them. And
7
I had
rings.
7 lucky rings. But no, babes, I'm not.
It's
disappointed.
precious because it's your story,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
priceless
I love it.
too, because it's just like that's what that was meant to be. I want to talk a little bit more about the height thing too for
Us 5'6",
Five,
5'6", our
Yeah.
5 and a
Oh,
half.
5'7" and a half. You guys just grew 2 inches since we've been sitting here.
Well,
Great.
that's what happened.
Look at the heels she has. You're like, I don't wear heels anymore. Look at these.
She wears full buildings.
What?
She is
Wait,
literally
actually,
wearing a
legitimate
building.
question. I know nothing about fashion. What do you call those shoes?
Balenciaga.
It's Croc and Balenciaga.
It's Croc and Balenciaga and like Dodger socks.
Also,
Wait,
she,
like actually Croc?
Yeah.
No
Croc
way.
and Balenciaga did a collab.
she
Okay.
wore them to the f***ing airport once. And literally,
Oh,
oh, sorry. She wore
Beep.
them.
No.
We'll beep it out.
She wore them to the airport once. And when I tell you, just for anyone who maybe isn't watching but just listening, Raven is wearing 20-pound plastic.
Can I
Wait, let's hold. Wait.
Balenciaga.
Wow. I've never
literally-
held something that's Balenciaga. Wow, this is like,
Do we have the same shoe size?
that's probably 5 pounds.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
so
no,
she's
I wear
walking
five.
through the airport, and
amazing.
we're walking to our gate, and I keep looking behind me, and Raven is walking, holding like 3 bags.
the dog.
And then she yells across the airport at me, and she goes, "I'm not on sport mode anymore." And I was like, when were you ever on sport mode? Like, I'll see you at
To be
32.
fair, I'm surprised those can make it through TSA because you could fit a
They
lethal
don't.
weapon.
They don't. They don't make it through TSA. She beeps and has to get them removed, and then she gets body searched.
Listen, you guys, listen.
It's hilarious.
Listen.
But it's perfect because it's our story of getting to the airport.
In an interview, I heard you talk about how Disney wanted you to wear heels a lot.
So that was yes and no. It was there was a understanding that if you're short and you wear heels, it thins you out.
Oh, wow.
Because if you look taller,
You're leaner.
the proportions work out. So behind the scenes, my team and I'm sure conversations always led to me wearing heels, which is one of the funny things that happens on TikTok, where Galleria from the Cheetah Girls is the only one strutting down all of the country of Spain in heels while all the other girls are in sneakers. That was the biggest one. And when you look at That's So Raven, every single outfit had on heels. I would be wearing heels in pajamas sometimes just because it makes you look thinner.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's tough because you're a teenager at that point, and that's already like an extremely hard time where there's like a disconnect between your body and your self-image. And so I cannot even imagine so many eyes on you in that way. And like the people advising you and leading you, having conversations like that, that must be really tough. What do you wish your team would have said regarding like your weight and image to you that they didn't say?
I wish they wouldn't. I actually don't wish they said anything. I wish they would have just not said anything. Mm-hmm. Period.
Yeah, it was just assumed that you are enough as is, and that
It was a
wasn't
different
even
time
people-
period.
It was early 2000s.
Yeah, nobody
Yeah.
was my size at that time.
And knowing
Doing what I did.
knowing what you know, living the experience that you've had. I mean, you said earlier that you learned how to act before you could even walk. What's your take on children in the industry? Would that be something that you'd be excited for your child to do, or would you warn your child to not act?
There's two answers to that. If my child wants to act, I will say, how old are you? Are you under the age of 16? Please wait a little bit. Let's take you to some classes. Let's get you ready for the fame. Let's, slowly indoctrinate you into what that looks like so you can build thick skin. At 18, I will help you find it, but you're not going to be too much of a nepo. You'll have to do this on your own kind of a situation. But I will make sure that I support you all day. If our child showed immense talent in something at a young age, we would nurture that, but not in a exploitive way. And then the other answer is, I want my kid to be in something where I can get a discount. Like, I'm going to need you to be in politics. I'm going to need you to be a lawyer. I'm going to need you to own, like, some grocery stores.
Flight attendant.
A flight attendant. I'm trying to get a
apparently.
Gucci.
Yeah.
I need a discount, boo.
Get some free Gucci.
I got the acting on lock. Your mama's a producer. Well, go do something else so we can all be, like, successful together. You know what I mean?
Internally got everything for us.
You know?
I love that.
Self-sustaining.
This family does
Enough.
everything. So that's kind of where
That's
I am
awesome.
on it. Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation.
This was really fun.
really fun.
Thank you for your
These were great.
vulnerability and for your wisdom and the laughs.
Thank
Yeah.
you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, we
for
laughed
having
a lot
us.
today. This is a blast. Thank you guys.